adjust my cue. Hello? I am kind of floored with how many people decided to come to this talk, given the title. So I'm going to make sure. Who here thinks that let's use IntelliJ as a game engine metaphorically? Good, because I don't. I mean it in the most literal manner. My name is Alexander Chatzizacharias. Chatzizacharias, a little bit of a tricky last name. I love bouldering. I have a way too expensive Magic the Gathering card collection. And I play a lot of video games, I guess as you might have guessed. I work at a company called J-Driven, which is a small consultancy in the Netherlands. We're with 30 Java, fanatics, better said. And I've heard that my last name is a little bit tricky to pronounce for people in Belgium and in the Netherlands. I'm a half Greek, which is a bit weird to me because it is so much shorter than your average Java method name, right? But I think I found a little bit of a life hack. This is my last name, camel-cased. So maybe it's a little bit easier to read for developers like this. All right, so the origin story of this talk is a little bit of a funny story. Who knows Unity 3D? All right, who knows what Unity 3D tried to pull off a year ago? Yeah, so they went like full, and pardon my French, but they went full enchification mode with a game engine. They tried to charge people for using the engine per install. So every time they would charge you for every time your game was installed. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of scummy. So I don't really like that anymore. So I should probably use some other game engine. And then I was like, okay, but what do? Do I do Unreal? Do I go with Godot? Do I make my own game engine? What is the best play here? And this is a huge coincidence. Who was on the previous talk that was in this room? A couple people, great. So I saw that talk a couple of months ago. Productivity is messing around and having fun, right? So the people that were in the previous talk learned everything about this. And I wholeheartedly agree with this. I do believe if you are having fun and you're messing around, fooling around, trying to discover things, you are being the most productive you can be. And that kind of got me thinking. If productivity is messing around having fun, and I'm using an integrated development environment, then that means to truly be productive, you need to be able to have fun and mess around in your integrated development environment, right? And that is a little bit how the whole idea came to fruition of let's see if we can use IntelliJ as a game engine. And more precisely, let's see if we can use the IntelliJ plugin platform as a game engine. Anybody that has created plugins before for IntelliJ? A couple of people. Are there any people from JetBrains here? I see one. Okay, you guys gotta see me burn some bridges here. So who knows the feedback sandwich? So the feedback sandwich is whenever you give feedback to somebody, you say something good, then you the feedback, and then you end up with something good again, right? So on a totally unrelated note, JetBrains and IntelliJ is such an awesome product. A really great IDE, works amazingly, unless it's indexing, of course. Does everything I wanted to do. But yeah, I did dig quite deep, I believe, into IntelliJ, and I did see some things that were maybe a little bit less nice. So I'll be talking about that as well. But mostly, I will just go through whatever I did, the ideas I had, and if you have any remarks, questions, criticism, insults, feel free to just shout them at me. It is a big room. I didn't expect to be in this room, but it is a big room, so shout hard. Otherwise, I want to hear you. And we'll just go with it. And if you are like, okay, if you see something on screen and you're like, okay, I really wonder how he did this, feel free to just ask, and I'll see if I can quickly explain and things like that. All right. Of course, when you work with these things, um, you gotta put some rules for yourselves or some guidelines, so to say. And the first one I did for myself, not necessarily to make things easier, but to make things harder, because, well, I'm a developer. I like when things are tricky. And the first is that I will not be using GCEF, or Java Chromium Embedded Framework. And what is that? That is basically, hopefully I have internet. So it is an embedded browser that you can open in IntelliJ, which is quite nice, but it is a little bit of cheating, right? So if it's a web browser, that means you can just load in any website you want or any JavaScript framework, whatever you want, and basically use that to make games, which would be a way to do it. Oh, and then you can get ads served directly at you. You're laughing, but you know, it might be coming in an IDE near you. Is there anybody that is really good at Wordle and is going to be like, within 2 guesses, I'll find you the word? No one? Okay, I mean, it's probably sword. Oh my God, I tried. Then a new one, second one, just... no. Okay, well, that was that. Sorry? Scarf? Okay, so all right, so I didn't expect to actually solve a Wordle on the stage here. But yeah, I guess that's the beauty of the DevOps. You go to a session and you get some guy that just solves Wordle on screen for you. But thanks to a very good tip. All right, but that is cheating. Even more cheating if somebody tells you that. I'm a gamer. I play a lot of games. Out of curiosity, any other gamers here? Oh, I love to see this so much. Yeah. Anybody that plays games more than 20 hours a week? Oh, rookie numbers. More than 30 hours a week. More than 40 hours a week? Oh, people backing out now? More than 50 hours a week? That is where I tap out. Anybody that plays more than 50 hours a week? 45? There! That's true commitment to a hobby. But yeah, for me, performance is a must. So we'll be going for the maximum performance we can find. We will always try to render whatever we're doing in the current window we're seeing right now. So we won't be opening any pop-up windows, stuff like that. And of course, it is an integrated development environment. That means there's a lot of code there. That means that we need to interact with the code in some manner. So we're going to be trying to do that as well. Our stack is actually quite simple, I would say. Everything you'll see is written in Kotlin. Any Kotlin developers here, except for me? Ooh, not a lot. Well, I'm going to say something polarizing. Kotlin is the best language on the GVM. Change my mind. We'll be using the IntelliJ plugin platform. And who here knew that IntelliJ was built using Java Swing? A couple people. So IntelliJ is built using Java Swing. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why they keep doing it, but that is how it is. Which means I will be using Java Swing, which, let's say, it's a real experience if you come from a game engine like Unity 3D or even dabbed into Unreal. So with that, we are nearing our first, well, MVP, how I like to call it. And I have a question for you all. Which game launched the video game industry? It's an easy one, huh? Indeed, it's Pong, and it launched in 1972, I think. All right. So I have a IntelliJ project. I mean, this is IntelliJ. Everybody should know how this looks a little bit. Anybody that still uses NetBeans or Eclipse? Oh, okay. The one JetBrains person sitting here is like, oh yeah. This is how I like to see it. So yeah, and then we'll be launching all our games using intentions, and intentions are when you do an Alt-Enter, and you get like a context menu which says, this is all the things you can do. A little bit of spoiler, maybe what's to come, but then, of course, we can play some Pong. As you can see, player 2 is already 0-7. And you could say, yeah, but Alex, this is not fair. And to that I say, games are not fair. Yeah, so we are playing Pong in IntelliJ. I showed it to a colleague of mine, and he was like, yeah, this really needs to be multiplayer, so we can do this instead of working. Remember, productivity is messing around and having fun. So as long as you're having fun. So yeah, now I killed it. So as you can see, this is what I had this idea. I was like, okay, first thing I need to do is actually prove to myself that this is possible, right? And I did that using Pong. And the most important part is, can I actually render things on top of, well, my code? And I think, to some degree, you can. What's really nice, of course, is you don't need to create your whole UI or whatever, because, well, IntelliJ gives you the UI for free. All you need is to actually use that for your UI. And if you look, of course, in the Git history, you will see that this is part of the Git history. So I could, if I want to do a force push and push it to the server, colleagues might get a little bit, I don't know, disappointed. And you can always Control-Z it as well. Well, I will be Control-Zing for a while to bring this number all the way back to 0. So let's just do it like this. All right. So yeah, this is a dummy project, by the way. It's totally not ChatGPT generated. But I promise it's the only AI thing this talk will have at all. All right. So we've seen that it's possible to draw graphics and do some really basic physics, or, I mean, you could say physics, but more like collision management, right? The most important thing that basically makes all this work is this little class that I made. Anybody that worked with Unity 3D to actually make little games or something? So a little bit. So this is basically a carbon copy of the Vector2 class that is in Unity 3D, ported to Kotlin. And I use this for 2 reasons. It's an object that encapsulates a vector, not a vector like you've been hearing with AI and embeddings and whatever. It's really the mathematical vector of use this to capture a point in space or a direction in space. And that is pretty much what we'll be using it exclusively for. So if you look at a Java Swing window, this is 0,0, so the top left, which was for me really getting used to, because Unity 0,0 is in the bottom left. So I was very confused building this. If the direction I'm very good at drawing. If the direction is going this way, then it's 1,0. So, and that's the x and I, of course. And if it's going this way, it's 0,1. So if you know that, and you know what the coordinates are in your window, and you know a little bit how the directions work, you can do a lot of things. So, for example, the ball that you saw, we iterate through every single line in the code. Thankfully, the plugin platform allows us to do that quite easily. We grab every line, and for every letter, we draw a little rectangle around it, and then use that for collision detection. So that means if here we have a block of letters, and we have the ball here, and it's going this, its direction is going to be 1, 1. Yes, nice. And if you ever decide I want to make games, realism is not a thing in game development. It is they are kings in fake it till you make it. So everything you see in video games, it's faking it until it looks good enough. So there is no physics here whatsoever. All I do is check the ball's coming this way. So if it collides with a surface with this direction, then I probably want it to go this way. And that's it. And then its direction is going to be 1. Exactly. So it's quite simple, right? So like this, you can very easily have basic collision detection and basic physics, so to say. Again, if you remember anything from this, fake it till you make it. All right, next question. So Pong released, hugely popular, launched the video game industry. Which game came after an arcade game that was kind of a system seller? I hear Pac-Man. That's not what I'm searching for yet. Space Invaders. Okay, so and now, when you're developing games, you need a theme, a little story. That is what I did, and the theme is I'm a backend developer myself, and the theme we'll be following from now on is the cardinal sins of every backend developer. And we're going to be building state invaders. And now, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to radicalize you here to move against the state. I'm talking about mutable state in your backend systems, right? Who here likes mutable state? No one. So yeah, but it can be used exclusively, especially if people don't really know what they're doing. So what we're gonna try to do is scan our code base, collect all the mutable variables we can find, and then create a little state invaders game out of it. So let's go to my demo project. So here, of course, we have this. And then we can go like this. And what's really nice, you can create beautiful UIs and main menus in IntelliJ just by showing banners. And don't worry, the code is still there. I tucked it away down, so it doesn't get lost. So there is a red line here that we do not care about things compiling still. But I do love that IntelliJ is really trying. Okay, so then we can type start, and then we even get a little cutscene. Now, I'm really curious if somebody gets this reference. Oh, yeah, so everybody is like, oh, yeah, that is the OG internet meme generation. Can anybody say what this is from? All your base all belong to us. Or how I like to call it, all your state all belong to us. So we have a little nice cutscene playing without music, maybe later, who knows. And now underwater we are collecting state. Oh, and as you can see here, as you can see, the chance of production crashing right now is 100%. And if I start killing state, the number goes down. Now you see, you guys will immediately see a bug that I forgot to fix, maybe, that I can go all the way out of the screen and keep shooting. Eventually they will come back, maybe. But as you can see, this is a foolproof way to reduce bugs in your code. I mean, IntelliJ is telling me the chance of production crashing is 80%, so it needs to know something, and it went down from 100%. I really wonder where they went. Now, you might think, okay, this is fun, Alex. You put the state, you create little sprites around it. But let me remove this. What of course we are trying also to improve our code base while we do this. So every time you shoot something, by the way. But every time you shoot something, I, of course, actually remove the variable from your code base. We're not keeping any state around. If you play this game, you'll be stateless in no time. So as you can see, we removed all the state. And again, I could force push it directly and just send it to the server. But who knows, maybe your colleagues won't like that as much. And that is all. So let's go to the stallion. That is the object that encapsulates one of the state invaders, you know. And that is thanks to the PSI interface that JetBrains has. It stands for Project Structure Interface at the top of my head. And basically, when IntelliJ starts to index, it will just go through your whole code and create this interface, this tree of, okay, we have a class, these are the methods in the class, these are the variables, etc., etc., etc. And then basically all I do is just scan the tree, search for fields that have a var keyword with no final, because that makes them mutable, and then just collect them, and then, well, you get what you just saw. All right, I guess I'll revert this. Good thing about Git, you can easily revert these things. All right. Now, so what is another cardinal sin of backend developers that we really don't like? Anybody got any clue where I'm trying to go with this? Front-end development. I mean, I'm not going to disagree, but that's not what I'm searching for. Anything else? SQL? No, what I was searching for is over-reliance on packages, which is something I really hate myself. And saying over-reliance on packages, anybody can guess which game I'm going to be rebuilding? Pac-Man, but with a K there, because it's Packageman. So we'll just go straight into it, I think. So hopefully the sound. There it is. Yes, you can play sounds in IntelliJ. And that loading bar, I had to do nothing for it. I just said to IntelliJ, hey, these are the things that I'll be doing. It is a loading action. Show me a loading bar. And it just did, and it was so nice. So we have Pac-Man. All we do is, again, press start. And I collect all the dependencies you have in your Gradle scripts or your Maven scripts and create a maze out of it. And you can see the little ghosts moving around. And the ghosts are not just ghosts in Pac-Man. They are the ghosts of our past mistakes, because they are the moment you committed a new package into Git. And as you can see, here we have add data faker, length J4J, because we have to do something with the AI. I hate Jackson, please work JSON. That was actually me. And of course, I don't know, you can see it. Oh, it's here. We have log for J for improved security. And now, of course, you can move around. Da, 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 da. Who knows what is the sound that Pac-Man does again? Well, that is copyrighted. But I got the next best thing for you. Does anybody know who this is? It is Venkat. So I grabbed Venkat saying Java in one of his presentations, looped it, and turned him into a voice actor in one of my games without him knowing. Okay, so let's see if we can go to the ghost over here. Nice. And we can eat it. What's kind of interesting, I tried run this a couple of days ago, and it's completely random where the ghosts appeared. So it could be that I'll just going through this maze of of all dependencies for hours upon hours without finding a ghost to eat. But thankfully, this time that wasn't the case. So I could move a little bit around and see if oh my god, no idea. Okay, let's kill this. All right. Of course, if you read this, it is actually the package names, letter for letter, from left to right. So JUnit dot Jupyter. Wait, let me. JUnit dot Jupyter, etc., etc. So every cell in the maze is a letter of your packages. And of course, we ate one of the ghosts, which was referencing one of the packages. So I'm using Gradle. So we grabbed the Gradle script, we grabbed the packages, referenced it, made a ghost out of it, and we ate it. And of course, if we eat a ghost, that means? You know it. So we just remove the line out of our, our build.gradle file. And this works with Maven as well, by the way, if you prefer that. So that is also a really nice thing from JetBrains, that they these abstractions you can use to collect dependencies and things like that. They tend to be they created APIs that tend to be agnostic of the implementation you use underwater, which is really nice. So if you are thinking of creating a plugin that removes packages, I guess, on the spot, no, it's possible. All right. And of course, yeah, this as well. Yeah. All right. So, oh, there's one thing before I move to the next game. Every time I give a presentation, I just call me childish, but I always need to show an explosion. It's just something. I mean, explosions are fun, right? So I think I'm just going to do that now. So, of course, we have code. You can imagine you're coding, very frustrating. There's a bug, you cannot get rid of the bug, and you just want to blow things up. You just woke up and chose violence, right? Well, now it's possible. And what's really funny, if you look at the Git history, you just see a hole where the code was. So if you're ever like, man, F this shit, I want to blow things up, do know it's possible. If you look at this, does anybody quickly get an idea how I did this? So if I stop it, and I revert, so I Control Z, you can see that the canvas is blank now. I Control Z again, hole, Control Z, blank, Control hole. So what I do is I collect all the letters, I move them into their own Java Swing window. I rewrite the letters on that window. That is where I calculate all the explosion physics and how they move, etc., etc. I move the letters in that window, and then once they're all done moving, I calculate where they are on a grid, because of course this thing is a grid, right? Because you can see that you have a column and a row, so your editor is basically a grid, and then I basically recalculate the position of the letters on that grid, and then resubmit them in one go in IntelliJ, and that works pretty nice. What's also funny, I mean, I checked out Maven. I mean, it's our favorite open source project, right? Any Maven committers here? No? Good. So we can try that. Maybe, or not. Oh, it's not compiling. Oh, rip. And then boom goes the dynamite. And then a couple to-dos. Maybe they should get onto this. And then, as you can see, if there are more letters and everything, it gets a little bit slower. So that is what I don't necessarily like to do this in the big code bases, because it doesn't show that crisp 120 frame rate I'm going for. You guys laugh, but wait a second. if we go, for example, to the Pac-Man game, you can see that the frame rate is 120. So I do not know what the problem is with these huge AAA publishers, like Ubisoft and EA. They release games and they're like at 30 frame rates. I can hit 120 in IntelliJ. How hard can it be? Well, that's a bridge burn. All right. So we have before the explosions, I showed you Pac-Man. Pac-Man was a real system seller. A couple years ago, in the early 90s, there was another game that came out that was a huge console seller. So people were buying consoles to play that one game. Anybody got any clue? Mario. Ooh, that is also true. I guess I could have used that one as well, but it's not the one I'm searching for. Sonic, which is trademarked. So we have Sonic, the Testdog. Because, of course, one of the other cardinal sins of backend developers are no unit tests or over-reliance on unit tests, right? One of the two. And, of course, we're going to fix that. So what we're going to do is build a little game using our unit tests. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. I think my demo project, all right. Gotta go fast. All right, so this is Sonic the Testdog, and we need to type "We love Scrum" to start. Who loves Scrum? I'm so surprised that I saw a couple hands. I mean, yeah, I guess let's agree to disagree. And here we have a little, well, this is our adversary, Dr. Velocitnik. Is telling us that our dream of making the next sprint goals is done. And he has stolen our unit tests and scattered them throughout our codes. Other code, that means we need to go and find them, which is, of course, a big oh no moment. And, of course, without unit test, how can you ever ship reliably on time, right? And it gives us a way out, like every evil genius. And he tells us, hey, I'm going to be at person.java to crush you, pretty much. All right. So let's go back. And now we are collecting unit tests, initializing some things. I maybe should have added a loading screen here. And so Sonic, the game, typically is very horizontal, right? So you go from left to right and you go as quickly as possible. When I had this idea, I didn't think about the fact that code bases are not very horizontal. They're more vertical. So we'll mostly be going from up to down. And then somebody said Mario. I was like, yeah, it was actually a better choice. But then again, Nintendo is very... Oh, yeah. So every coin represents a unit test. So we went through our code base. We collected all the unit tests we could find. And we need to find and we spread them through the code base. And every coin is a unit test. And we can go... Oh, no. And we got hit, and we lost one of our coins, which means, of course... So we go like this, like this, like this. I'm really rocking it, ain't I? All right. What's also funny? Let's see if I can find a reference somewhere. I don't think this class is referencing anything else except for things in this class. Now that I think about, oh, person. We needed to go to person, right? So let's see if I can get there. There we go. There. Oh, this is so tricky. And I made this thing myself. Can you imagine? So that's what... Oh, my God. I suck at my own game. I want to be at the Okay. Wow, we are at the boss. How did this happen? Uh, I might have built some shortcuts here and there, just in case that happened. So now we're in the person. As you can see, the boss is like a full state machine, and everything is like a boss you would see in any triple game, shooting at us, going up and down. Really cool. Of course, we can move around and try kill it. Oh, and we have here a set name. Oh, and then if we want to, actually, we can go back to main.java. So you can actually traverse your whole code base playing this game by ducking on the references and going left to right. And of course, we can kill him. Yeah. Out of all the games I made, this was the trickiest one. But also very fun. And of course, let's pick one more coin and just immediately lose it. Right. And of course, as you can see, for every coin, the unit test is removed out of your code base. There is no room for sympathy or anything like that in games I make. It's hardcore. You play good or you just don't play at all. So let's discard this, bring our unit test back. All right. So we can. So I have one last little mini game I want to show you. Anybody got a clue what the last cardinal sin of every, maybe even every developer is? Sorry? Wait? Quake. I'm not disagreeing, but not what I'm going for. One more, anyone? Any clue? What did you say? Oh, commit message. I thought you said copying. You were so close. Copy pasting. You guys have been doing it so often that you just don't even realize anymore, do you? But yes, copy pasting code from Stack Overflow or LLMs nowadays or anything like that. So I figured, why not to do something around that to make sure that when a developer copy-pastes something into their code base, they know exactly what they're copy-pasting. So I came, anybody that played Guitar Hero? Amazing game. I was so bad at it, but I still had like a guitar and a drum, everything. My mother hated me that period. So we're going to try to make Code Hero. That means that every single time that you try to copy-paste something in your code base, we'll be grabbing that piece of text, and you need to type the text letter for letter on the rhythm of the music. So you can prove you're a real code rock star. Does anybody know this game? Osu, exactly. So if you're making a rhythm game, the most important thing that you need is a beat map. And a beat map is a file that tells the program, these are the beats, and these are at this timestamp, they should be shown. And Osu is an open source game, so all their beat maps are also open source, which is really nice because that means I can use them. And this is a little bit how the game looks when people are good at it, which is not me, by the way. All right. So we are at our demo, Code Hero. So let's say I want to grab this. And I'm actually even making it easy. I'm only grabbing letters that are actually a letter or a digit. So no special characters, no spaces, stuff like that. So let's say I want to paste this here. Paste action detected. Time to prove you're a real code rockstar. You pasted the low amount of text. So we're getting an easy song. A little bit of an intro. I am ready. I was born ready. Okay. Oh my God. Stage fright. And there it is. It was pasted. Now we can just finish the song for fun and giggles. Sorry? It is key sensitive, yeah. You have to type the actual key. So yeah, I do think this is a better way of copy pasting than how it works now, personally. So yeah, so and then you copy paste it. Is there anybody here that feels that they're a very fast typer? Everybody's like, no way. I'm not raising my hand on this. So nobody that's like, yeah, I can type blind with like 200 keystrokes a second. There is one person? Yeah, come. All right. Hi, I'm Alex. Tim, where are you from?
Belgium.
Belgium. Oh, you came with a bike?
No.
All right. Do you want a very hard song or do you want a medium song?
Start with medium.
You're confident. I like it. By the way, I really like heavy metal music. Do you by any chance like heavy metal music?
I used to have a beard, but I grew out of it.
But you still like heavy metal music?
I can live with it.
All right. You won't be needing that for what's about to come.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this with one hand.
All right. So I'm going to be pasting this code here. Here you go.
Okay.
So.
Oh, it's QWERTY. Shit.
The disclaimers. The disclaimers. So it is. Did it say medium song? It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Fast typing is a real skill, and I can see you can type fast, but the problem is you don't need to type fast here. You need to type on the rhythm.
It's because it's QWERTY.
Oh, it's because it's QWERTY? Do you wanna try the next song, maybe? Yeah? All right, we'll try the next song. So, have you played Guitar Hero by any chance?
Way back.
Way back? If I say Guitar Hero, which is the one song that they know? Can somebody shout it for me? Here you go. Ooh, good luck. I am with you. I'm glad I don't have to do it. At least now you can type as quickly as you can, though. Very well done. Nice. All right. If Dragon Force sees this, please don't sue me. Well done, Tim, and thank you for being such a good sport. So yeah, personally, I feel this is the way to really prove that you are a code rock star, in my opinion. So with that, of course, I also have some feature requests for JetBrains. The first and most important thing is the documentation on the IntelliJ plugin platform is not very good. So I basically had the GitHub project of the IntelliJ open on my second screen for months that I was working on this. It was my second home, pretty much. So if they would improve that and update it, that it's up to date, that would be really amazing. Furthermore, please add MP3/WAV support. I think it's very important for IntelliJ as a if it wants to flourish as a game engine, it needs it for sure. Did deprecate PNG support. I understand that for icons you prefer SFGs, but really I think if we're gonna use this as a game engine, we really need PNGs for our textures and our sprite atlases and things like that. Add GIF support, because why not? We're already adding things. Makes things easier for us as well. There is a class there called GB color that it doesn't, you cannot give it a transparency, and it's really driving me nuts. Because if I go at GB color, and then we go GB color, and you basically have to do things like, I want the yellow color, but brighter. But then if you want it even brighter, instead of giving a transparency or some value, you have to go brighter. And then again, brighter. And then again, brighter. I'm like, we have the technology, people. I would like to have more control over when a write action happens, because right now write actions happen, you submit things to a queue, and IntelliJ goes through the queue and writes things. Well, if we're gonna be building games in IntelliJ, we need to know exactly when things are showing on the screen, so then we can react to that and create those crisp, nice experiences for our users. I would like to have an API that gets us the time between draw frames. That means that it's called the delta time. That means I don't need to start my own coroutines and manage that myself. That means that IntelliJ, I can just hook up to the repaint cycle of IntelliJ and just use that. That would be amazing. Thank you very much. And of course, for the love of God, can I please get an API that will allow me to get the color of a letter where my cursor is? Because right now, I have to go to the PSI field, ask it what kind of field, is it a field, a method name, a class name, whatever, then go to the color scheme and ask the color scheme, okay, I have a class name here, what color is class name? And only that, then I know what color the letter is. So it would be nice if I could just have an API for that. Thank you. So yeah, we're almost nearing the end. And I have one last thing to tell you. You heard it a little bit back from Holly and Trisha. I do think that coding is our superpower. And we tend to forget it because we have so many people here. We think, okay, everybody can do that. But that is not true. There are not a lot of people in this world that can actually write code and do things with computers. So it is our superpower. And I would like to tell you, do not use it wisely. Just play with it. Just do whatever you want. Don't have anybody tell you that an idea is a bad idea, or why would you ever do that? Experiment around, fool around and find out. I use fool because I'm not allowed to say any other word. Fool around and find out. And most importantly, do things that bring a smile on your face. This took a long time to create. And it was really fun for me. And the dopamine hit when you have like this idea, and you're like, okay, is this gonna work? I have no idea. I'll try it out. And then you work on it, and then it works. That dopamine hit you get then is like one of the best things ever. It's better than it's better than seeing 3,000 lines of code get deleted. How about that? So yeah, have fun. So can IntelliJ be used as a game engine? I tried. I'll leave the answer yes or no to you. You can choose for yourself. There's one last feasibility check we need to do to make sure that we can go further with this. If anybody has a clue, you're allowed to say that now. Can it run Doom? So who thinks IntelliJ can run Doom? Oh, what IDE error? Yeah, nice. But of course, you can run Doom in IntelliJ. All right. And with that, I have nothing more to show you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making this. JetBrains has invited me for some reason to be at their booth. So, so if you have any questions or something like that, I'll be there at the JetBrains booth right after our pack up. So you can meet me there. I can show you maybe how the code looks like and things like that. And have a great DevOps, the rest of DevOps.